So you were molded into that shape for that person's sake, and you have nothing to benefit from that new you. That's toxic. And you are left that way. You're not useful to yourself. You only made that way for that person's good and progress. That's toxic. Use is not the problem. When the benefit is not mutual, that's not use, that's abuse, abnormal use. That's the point, that's manipulation. Teach us. Every human being deserves a rich, rewarding, and a safe relationship, including you. You are worth a rich, a rewarding, and a safe relationship. And I'm telling you this, you are worth it. You are worth it. You deserve it. To have an experience of a rich relationship, a rewarding relationship, a safe relationship. You deserve it and you are worth it. But then, if you are going to experience this, it's important to know that there are responsibilities. And relationships are co-created. Healthy relationships are co-created. Right? Every party involved is a co-creator, and there is a responsibility for members or parties in that relationship. If you're going to have a rich, now the first thing is you are deserving of a rich, a rewarding, and a safe relationship. Not just that, you are worth a rich, a rewarding, and a safe relationship. Very important. But then, as much as you are worth it and you deserve it, you must be aware that there's a responsibility side to experiencing that. And that is the fact that it is co-created. You're a co-creator in the nature of relationship you desire. That blissful relationship you deserve and that you are worth. You're worth it, you deserve it, but you must co-create it. You must have your hands on deck to co-create this relationship. And you see, generally speaking, people talk about how being used is an abuse or is toxic. But I want to demystify that. That honestly, there's no problem with being used. And I'll tell you that. There is no, you are hearing this from me, on this platform, Relationship Fair. There is no problem with being used. No. Even in the Bible, God used people. Satan also uses people. There is no problem with being used. And toxic relationship, it's not about use. No, it's not about use. It's not about use. There is no problem with being used. Many of you have prayed such prayers before. Oh God, use me. Use me. Let me tell you what the problem is. The problem exists when there is what you call abnormal use. Abnormal use, or for short, abuse. Now, where does abuse exist? Abuse exists when the benefit is not mutual. There's no problem with being used in relationships. There's no problem at all. There's no problem. If you get a job, you are being used. Your skill is being used. Your talent is being used. Your time is being used. But at the end of the month, they pay you. Now, when you are not paid, you are being abused. So you can't say you were abused. You can say you were used. Yes, you were used because you used your time, your skill, your talent, and all of that. But you got money, you got benefits. So it's a mutual use. The organization is using you. You're also using the organization to pay your bills. You're using the organization to take care of your family. You're using the organization to make progress in other areas of your life. So there is use, which is very okay. Don't get into a mindset where you think, oh, don't use me, that relationship, I was just used. No, that's not toxic relationship. Toxic relationship is not use, it's abuse. Because it's one-sided. When there's no mutual benefit in the use, there is no more use, it's now abuse. And that is a toxic relationship. Because it's an abnormal use. Why is it abnormal? There's no mutual benefit. Someone is enjoying, the other one is experiencing pain. Someone is laughing, the other one is crying and dying. That is abnormal use. There's no mutual benefit. So, toxic relationship is a relationship where there's abnormal use because the benefits are not mutual. Are we learning something? A healthy relationship has sacrifice in it. But the sacrifice flows to strengthen the cord of love and the achievement of a mutual goal. When people come with a mindset, they enter a relationship and they think everything is just said, dinner is set, and they actually just come to that relationship and it's like just sit and eat. It's not always like that. Even if on your first date it happened like that, as you go along in that relationship, there'll be a moment where the other party will tell you that when you come, you know what you will find? You will find your raw grains, you will find water, you will find matchstick or a lighter, and we will wrap our hands together in the process. Then together we will eat the dinner. Yeah. There's sacrifice in a healthy relationship. But where it gets sweet and interesting is that this sacrifice strengthens the cord of love in that relationship, in that organization, in that partnership. Also, this sacrifice flows towards the achievement of a mutual goal. So that is the way a healthy relationship should be. But what now happens when things get, as I say, when things get sour? That is when you can now talk about it becoming toxic. Relationships can start on a wrong note. Foundation can be destroyed from the very beginning, and it's toxic. And even healthy relationships can become toxic. It's very possible. People do change. So let's have a very decent and a very good perspective towards the subject of toxic relationship and even dealing with toxic relationship. Right? Features of toxic relationship. How do you recognize a toxic relationship? Number one, there's absence of poor communication. Someone said distance does not with friends. It's absence of communication. So number two, neglect. Neglect. You see, a relationship is like a garden. If you leave it, if you don't tend it, it's going to grow weeds. So when you see a relationship, in a relationship there's neglect, right? Neglect of the other party. Your opinions no longer matter. Your perspective no longer matter. Important things that will actually affect you and affect the relationship are done, and you're not even aware of it. You're not consulted. You're not even in the discussion or decision-making table. But the outcome of that decision will affect you significantly. That is a toxic relationship. Neglect. It must be groomed. Relationship must be groomed routinely and frequently. And partners' needs must be cared for and concerned about, even if not catered for always. Now let me explain this. Sometimes members of that, maybe an organization, you have the superiors, they are shareholders, they are the directors, all of that. They may not be able to cater for the needs of members of staff. But that relationship would be toxic if there are obvious needs in the members of staff and it's not even being cared for. They are not even listening to those needs. You see, organizations even literally create crèche and school, playgroup schools, because they notice a number of their staff are families. And if that dynamics of the children of the members of the staff is not being fine-tuned properly, it might impact the quality of their delivery at work. So you can come with your young children. There's a provision within the organization that can actually have them occupied until closing hours. That's caring for and even catering for the needs of members in that relationship. So you find flourishing there. But when you have an organization and all of those needs are not being cared for, definitely you won't get the best of those staff, and it will get to be a toxic relationship. So between you and your partner or in a family setting, are we aware of each other's needs? Now, upon that awareness, how do we show care? Do we express care? I may not be able to solve the problem, but I'm aware this problem is there, and I acknowledge this particular problem. I can pray about it. I can make recommendations. I can take some steps. I can do something. I can just show that you care. That's all. If you can't cater for it, which is great if you can, show that you care in a relationship or in a partnership where there is no recognition of their awareness. There's no recognition of these needs. That means there's neglect. And that's a toxic relationship. Number three, exploit. Remember, exploited. When you exploit people in a toxic relationship, one of the features is exploit. People are exploited. Always getting the shorter end of the stick. It's not something that happens by chance, but it's intentional, it's deliberate, and it's consistent. Always. Always. Watch that. That's a toxic relationship. You have a friend, you have a partner, you have someone you're dating, and all the time, you get the shorter end of the stick. That's exploit. You have been exploited. Open your eyes. You have been exploited. It's not love. You think you are doing it for love. You are accepting that because of your own love, but the other party is exploiting you. And it's a feature of toxic relationship. Number 3, manipulation. In a toxic relationship, there is manipulation. What does that mean? When you are being molded to fit into the agenda of the other party. It's who you are. It's who you are. But the other party wants something like a feast. And you are molded. And when the person achieves his goal, how people leaves you in that format or makes you like this? You are old, or someone meets you and trims you up, just trims you into what he or she wants. And when you just achieve this or goal, just leave you the way they made you, not the way they met you, which is in a mold that does not represent you. That's manipulation. You were manipulated, or you are being manipulated. And this is a feature of toxic relationship. As I said earlier, use is not the problem. But when the benefit is one-sided, so you were molded into that shape for that person's sake, and you have nothing to benefit from that new you, that's toxic. And you are left that way. You are not useful to yourself. You only made that way for that person's good and progress. That's toxic. Use is not the problem. When the benefit is not mutual, that's not use, that's abuse, abnormal use. That's the point, that's manipulation. Number 5, feeling of being lost. Have you ever been in a setting where you just feel you can't find the names? Yes, there's no way out of this bit. You feel you are lost. And that's a relationship, that's a partnership. But you can't find yourself. You are going on a path you didn't choose and would rather not go. You are wearing a dress you don't want to wear. You are being in places you don't want to be. You are spending your money in ways you don't want to. You are living against your values. You have lost yourself. And that's a toxic relationship. Be mindful of these features. Once you see them, you can recognize, I had that in relationship conference. That is a toxic relationship. And as I said again, it's not about trying to, attack people or trying to be negative. No. Good, healthy relationships can actually become toxic if certain things are not done. Because relationship is like a garden. You have to tend it. You leave it, it's going to grow with time. So it's very intentional, it's very deliberate. And you are a co-creator of your relationship. Number 6, being constantly judged, condemned, and guilt-tripped. Constantly. There's a difference between correction in love and being judged, being condemned, being guilt-tripped. Now, when you meet narcissistic people, when you meet people who they never see good in you, and you are supposed to be in a relationship. No. There's something, they look at your makeup, they condemn something. They look at your dress, they condemn something. They look at your teeth, they condemn something. Your food, there's something they never see something to appraise, something to appreciate about you. It's always condemnation, judging you and all of that. That's a toxic relationship. That is a toxic relationship. We make mistakes and can be corrected. But when our mistakes are always highlighted more than our strength, and gaslighting is a game, it's a problem. It's a problem. That's a toxic relationship. So being constantly judged, condemned, and guilt-tripped. Number 7 now. You are not valued. You see, when a partnership, in a relationship, in an organization, when you are not valued, see, it's a toxic relationship. Your inputs, your opinions, your contributions are not valued. You are made to feel less in worth, or you're made to feel no worth. That's a toxic relationship. You wonder people commit suicide, who do nasty things, and you're wondering what exactly happened. But these are some of the things that lead to that. When every time you're in a relationship and you leave wondering if you are still a human being. You have a conversation with your boss or your supervisor or even your parents. And after that conversation, you are wondering if you are not better off dead than alive. That's a toxic relationship. A relationship where you're not valued. Your opinion don't matter. Your contribution does not matter. And you are constantly made to feel of less worth or of no worth. That's a toxic relationship that will not help you. Number 8, absence of empathy. Absence of empathy. Things happen in life, and sometimes you have experiences, could be failures, could be a venture that did not turn out as it's supposed to be. You took loan to do something and you didn't get the thing done, the loan is nowhere to be found, and now you have debt you are paying that you don't even know how to go about that, or you took an exam, you failed. Things happen in life. It could be accident, and certain things, important equipment are damaged or stolen, vehicles. Things happen in life. Or if you're in a relationship and partners in that relationship, they don't express empathy. Empathy is basically you not just saying I understand, but you being able to feel what that person feels. I understand the sympathy. Oh, I see, I understand. Oh, sorry. That's sympathy. But tell me about it. Can we go there right now? So, how will that make you feel? Oh my God. Okay. I'll be at your place tomorrow. And wow. And you can even tell, you can feel, you can taste that identification with you in that situation. That's empathy. Not just I understand, not just I can see. No, but you try to put your shoe in that same, your leg in that same shoe. It may not fit, that's understandable. But you make that move. You make that move. That's empathy. When there's lack of empathy in a relationship, in a partnership, it's toxic. Yeah, it's toxic. Because we are supposed to grow together, go through life together. The bumps and the crest and the troughs, we should go through life together. No one is perfect. No one has it all fitted 360. No growing. If you make mistakes, and watch it, such people, when they make mistakes, they don't talk about where they missed it. Sorry, that's the sound of the ship, or a ship's horn. Rather, they talk about their intentions. You get what I'm saying? When people make mistakes, they talk about their intention. But when you make mistake, they talk about the mistake. That's a toxic relationship. If you turn the table around, when you make mistake, look at the mistake itself and judge yourself based on that, and beat yourself on that. But when others make mistake in a relationship, look at their intention, not just what they did, but what was this person thinking, and just give what you call unconditional positive regard. You just believe all things. You just believe that person means well, even though it ended up to being a mistake. But in a toxic relationship, constantly, you don't experience empathy, and the other party, they will always explain their intentions, their good intentions, and want to make you ignore the mistakes they made. They want your empathy, but they won't give that, and they want you to actually overlook the mistake they make and the impact of their mistakes, not even taking responsibility. That's a toxic relationship, my friend. Then what's number now? Actually, number 8, absence of empathy. Now, number 9, absence of freedom of expression. You see, when you're in a place where you're too sensitive to a fault, I don't even know how to say that. I don't know how people will feel now if I say this. You can't even free up, and you just release. Everything just tensed, and I think they call it walking on eggshell, something like that. You are walking on eggshell. Like I must not say something that will offend her now. She'll get angry. He might get pissed off. No, that's a toxic relationship. Not like this. It's not like you intentionally say nasty things or speak in rude ways. No, but you just want to make some joke now. Make some joke. Make the atmosphere lively. So you just even be free around you. That's a healthy relationship. It's freedom of expression. It can be an important feature of a toxic relationship when there's lack of freedom of expression. Okay, so number 10, fear. And that's the last point there. Fear. Not concerns, but fear. Not unanswered questions, but fear. When there's fear in a relationship, sometimes you just want to explain it, but you just feel you're not safe. You're just afraid. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. You should have some level of safety in a relationship. Like you feel at home, you feel safe. Don't feel like a stranger in your own relationship, in your own partnership, in that organization, in that setting, in that church. Remember I said today's subject is not about romantic or marital relationship. Toxic relationship is very general. It happens in many places. You can't be living in fear when you're working, where you spend more than half of the day or about half of the day in. No, that's toxic. You can't be living in fear in church, in a religious organization you belong to. That's toxic. Fear is a feature The presence of fear is a feature of a toxic relationship. All right. Now, why do people stay in a toxic relationship? When you now look at these 10 things I mentioned as features, maybe let me know if you want to go over them again. Or did you get all the list? Just let me know. Should I go over the list again? Any feedback? Okay. So I'll just run through very briefly. So 1, absent communication or poor communication. Neglect. Exploit, when you're exploited, being exploited. 4, manipulated. 5, feeling of being lost. 6, being constantly judged, condemned, and guilt-tripped. 7, you are not valued. 8, absence of empathy. 9, absence of freedom of expression. And 10, fear. Now, what are the reasons people stay in toxic relationships despite all of these experiences?